Well, we were talking about Tekashi. This interview is actually not out yet, but I have the first Kooda B interview.
Really?
Really.
What'd he say?
Here's what's interesting about this interview, and I want everyone to tune in and watch this, because by the time this piece comes out, shout out to my members, they'll get it early, but by the time this piece comes out, his interview should be out as well. So we went into the whole story. He just got out of prison.
Yeah.
He did 3 years total. He did a year, then he violated his probation, his parole, and then he had to go back in for 2 years. Here's what's interesting about this story, because he went to prison for shooting at Chief Keef.
Yeah.
Right? Which Tekashi, based on that video that was circulating, basically put a $30,000 hit on Chief Keef. On February 1st, Tekashi actually pled guilty to all 9 charges. And one of the things that he included in his plea deal was the ordering of the shooting at Chief Keef. And he said that he offered you $20,000 to do the shooting.
He ain't offer me none.
He didn't offer you anything?
No.
Did he pay you anything after the fact?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Zero?
Zero.
And the story has always been that Kooda B, did the shooting, and then Tekashi told on him, and then he ended up going to prison for 3 years.
Yeah.
Kooda B wasn't the shooter.
Oh, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
So this is the most hilarious thing, right? Which it kind of reminded me of like even the X situation with the guys who did the robbery.
Mm-hmm.
It's always funny how money gets like, disseminated when it comes to like any type of crime. From what I hear, right, it was like, well, actually, I read it in court documents. Shoddy takes the money from 6ix9ine, takes his thing off the top, right? So he takes a little off the top. Then he says, all right, it's not 30, we got 20. And then they give the 20 or some figure like that to Kooda B. And Kooda B is like, all right, bet. Let me take my 10 and I'm going to give the actual shooter the 10. So the money got split up all type of different ways. You know what I mean? Which
well, he claimed he never got any money out of it.
Of course he did.
Well, that's his story. I don't know. I'm not
well,
here.
He could tell the truth at this point, so it would make no sense.
I mean, he already did his jail. He said he never got anything for it. And he basically said the whole thing was caught on tape with the actual shooter, but he was with the shooter at the time. And I said, well, that's a pretty good defense. If it's on tape and you're not the shooter, and they're trying to say that you put it together for the shooter, you could just say, nah. Like if me and you are hanging out, right, we're having lunch, and you get into it with the waiter, and you pull out a gun and shoot him, the fuck I got to do with that?
I think they had way more than that.
Well, here's what it was. They had their star witness, Tekashi 6ix9ine, who detailed the whole situation. And he felt that going against that was just too much of a risk because he was facing 10 to life.
Yeah, no, there was a lot more they had on him too. Like you gotta remember, it's the fans who came in, so it's not like they just came in like, oh yeah, we think you were with the show. No, they had him trying to collect payment. You get what I mean? They also had him on multiple nights because Chief Keef was in New York. He was staying at the W for the weekend. Mm-hmm. They followed him the night before. They didn't shoot at him the night before. He was there. So again, listen, it's one thing if you're like, yo, my Uber driver just starts spraying at everybody on the block and I happen to be in the Uber. Yeah. It's a difference to be like, yo, bro, you've been riding with this dude for 2 days? Like, you know what I mean? Going to the same block that he's going to spray up? You look like you might be a little bit more involved. They have him on surveillance footage, kind of like stalking Chief Keef, like outside of like, it was either a restaurant or like a club. They were kind of like, they were trying to lay wait to see when he was going to leave.
Yeah, I mean, he said that. He said they had the whole thing on tape.
Oh yeah,
but ultimately, yeah. But ultimately, what really happened, which was very interesting, was that had he cooperated and said, "Here's the real shooter," because I asked who the shooter was, he goes, "I don't know." He wasn't going to put that out there. But if he had cooperated against the actual shooter, he had the chance to walk away completely. Really? He chose not to cooperate at all. And he even said that when he got to like his final, like, you know how in prison, like in the feds, they take you to a bunch of prisons and you finally settle at the one you're finally at. He said that when he got to his car, which is like, the area with all the other, inmates and so forth, he said that in the car, who's ever in charge of that group of men, they asked to see your paperwork.
Yeah.
And if you have a snitch, if you have snitching on your paperwork, they'll tell you got to get out or else they're going to fuck you up. So he had his paperwork with him, which he actually brought with him to our interview. And he showed the paperwork and he said that I didn't cooperate at all, which is why he did his 3 years.
I think the reason why he's also doing that too is that Whack 100 has been on Clubhouse for the last 3 years.
He mentioned that. Yeah, he mentioned
Whack
that.
100 has been saying that he told on 6ix9ine, which
He told on 6ix9ine?
Basically, they're saying he did the gunner in a sense by saying because he took a plea and he admitted to basically taking money for the shooting, he basically implicated 6ix9ine for giving the money. You get what I mean? Listen, man.
6ix9ine cooperated. No. That doesn't make sense because 6ix9ine cooperated on day one. Like, you know what I'm saying? As soon as he got locked up. No, I'm not buying that. But I understand. But listen, Whack is in some sort of business with 6ix9ine, so he's going to do his best to protect his client, protect his money. I get it, man. I get it.
Whack's the greatest, man.